Noam Chomsky, a name that resonates in the realms of linguistics, philosophy, and political activism. He's not just some guy with a funny name. Chomsky is a towering intellectual figure whose work has left an indelible mark on multiple fields of study. This is a man who changed the way we understand language itself. His theories on generative grammar revolutionized the field of linguistics, offering new insights into how humans acquire and use language. But Chomsky is more than a brilliant linguist. His intellectual curiosity and moral compass have led him to become a vocal critic of societal structures and political systems. He's also a fierce critic of power, especially when it comes to America's role in the world. Chomsky has never shied away from speaking truth to power, challenging the status quo with his incisive critiques. In his book, Hegemony or Survival, Chomsky doesn't pull any punches. He meticulously dissects America's foreign policy, exposing what he sees as a dangerous addiction to global dominance. He lays out what he sees as America's addiction to global dominance. Chomsky argues that this relentless pursuit of hegemony is not only unsustainable, but also perilous for the future of humanity. And he warns us, this addiction could cost us everything. From environmental degradation to endless wars, the consequences of unchecked power are dire. This book isn't some light reading. It's a dense, thought-provoking work that challenges readers to reconsider their assumptions about global politics and America's role in the world. It's a serious challenge to the way we think about America's place in the world. Chomsky's arguments are compelling, backed by extensive research and a deep understanding of history and geopolitics. But Chomsky isn't just trying to tear things down. His critiques are not merely destructive, they are constructive, aimed at fostering a more just and equitable world. He's offering a warning, a plea for sanity, a chance to choose survival over self-destruction. Chomsky's work is a call to action, urging us to rethink our priorities and strive for a better future. The title of Chomsky's book isn't subtle. It's a slap in the face, forcing us to confront a brutal question. Can America pursue global dominance and still survive? Chomsky's answer is a resounding no. Hegemony, in Chomsky's view, isn't just about being the biggest kid on the block. It's about controlling the entire playground. It's about dictating the rules, even if it means breaking them when it suits you. But here's the catch. This pursuit of dominance, this endless need for control, is pushing us towards the brink. Chomsky argues that America's actions are creating a more unstable and dangerous world, a world where the threat of catastrophic conflict looms large. Noam Chomsky introduces us to a chilling term, full-spectrum dominance. This concept isn't just a fleeting idea or a theoretical construct, it's a deeply ingrained strategy that has been meticulously planned and executed over decades. Full-spectrum dominance means that the United States aims to control every aspect of global power, from military might to economic influence, and even cultural hegemony. It's a strategy that seeks to ensure that no rival, whether a nation-state or a non-state actor, can ever challenge American supremacy. This isn't just about winning wars. It's about creating a global environment where the very idea of resistance becomes unthinkable. The military aspect is just one facet of this grand strategy. The United States has invested heavily in advanced weaponry, cutting-edge technology, and a vast network of military bases around the world. These are not just tools for defense, they are instruments of power projection designed to intimidate and coerce. It's about eliminating the very possibility of resistance. This strategy extends beyond the battlefield to the streets and homes of ordinary people. Protests are suppressed, dissent is quashed, and any form of opposition is met with overwhelming force. The goal is to create a world where the status quo is maintained at all costs and any challenge to American authority is swiftly and decisively neutralized. It's about controlling land, sea, air, space, and even the flow of information. The United States has established a presence in every domain of warfare, from the depths of the oceans to the far reaches of space. Satellites monitor every corner of the globe, and advanced cyber capabilities allow for the manipulation and control of information. This multi-dimensional approach ensures that American influence is pervasive and unchallenged. Imagine a world where America calls all the shots, where any challenge to its power is met with overwhelming force. This vision of global dominance is not just a fantasy, it's a reality that is being actively pursued. Military parades showcasing tanks and missiles are not just displays of strength, they are messages to the world that America is prepared to use its power to maintain its position at the top. This isn't some conspiracy theory. The evidence is all around us in the news we consume, the policies we see enacted, and the actions taken on the global stage. The media plays a crucial role in shaping public perception and ensuring that the narrative of American exceptionalism is maintained. This narrative justifies the actions taken in the name of national security and global stability. Chomsky backs up his claims with hard evidence, pointing to official documents and policy statements that reveal America's ambition for absolute control. These documents are not hidden, they are publicly available for those who seek them out. They outline a clear and consistent strategy aimed at maintaining American dominance in every sphere of influence. The militarization of space, for example, isn't science fiction. It's a key part of this strategy, a way to extend American power beyond the limits of Earth itself. Satellites and space stations are not just tools for exploration, they are strategic assets that provide a significant advantage in both surveillance and warfare. It's a key part of this strategy, a way to extend American power beyond the limits of Earth itself. The control of space is seen as the next frontier in the quest for dominance, providing unparalleled capabilities for monitoring and influencing global events from above. But this pursuit of dominance comes at a steep price. The human and economic costs are staggering. War-torn cities, displaced populations, and economic instability are just some of the consequences of this relentless quest for control. The resources spent on maintaining this dominance could be used to address pressing global issues like poverty, climate change, and healthcare. Chomsky argues that it fuels global instability, creates resentment, and makes the world a far more dangerous place. The pursuit of full-spectrum dominance not only destabilizes regions, but also breeds hatred and animosity towards the United States. This, in turn, leads to a cycle of violence and retribution, making the world less safe for everyone. The question we must ask ourselves is whether this strategy of dominance is worth the cost, and if there might be a better way to achieve global security and stability. Section 4 echoes of the Cold War, from containment to domination. To understand Chomsky's argument, we need to go back in time. The Cold War, with its nuclear standoff between the US and the Soviet Union, casts a long shadow over Chomsky's analysis. During the Cold War, America's strategy was containment. The goal was to prevent the spread of communism, to keep the Soviet Union in check. But after the Soviet Union collapsed, something changed. The threat of a rival superpower vanished, and with it, the restraint that came with it. Chomsky argues that America's pursuit of hegemony intensified after the Cold War. With no serious rivals left, the temptation to reshape the world in its own image became too strong to resist. Section 5. Vietnam. A turning point and a cautionary tale. No understanding of American foreign policy is complete without confronting the ghost of Vietnam. The Vietnam War, a conflict that spanned nearly 2 decades, left an indelible mark on the American psyche. It was a war that divided the nation, sparked massive protests, and led to a profound questioning of American values and objectives. The war's impact was not just felt on the battlefield, but also in the hearts and minds of the American people. For Chomsky, Vietnam wasn't just a war that America lost. It was a moral and strategic disaster that exposed the flaws at the heart of American power. The war revealed the limitations of American military might and the dangers of overreaching in foreign policy. It showed that even the most powerful country on earth couldn't always impose its will through brute force. The Vietnam War was a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The images of soldiers in distress, the ruins left behind, and the emotional toll on both the Vietnamese and American people were seared into the collective memory. It was a conflict that brought to light the harsh realities of war and the devastating consequences of political and military decisions. Vietnam showed the limits of American military might. The relentless aerial bombardments, the intense ground combat, and the eventual abandonment of military equipment all pointed to a sobering truth. Military power alone could not achieve the desired outcomes. The sight of helicopters evacuating troops from Saigon became a powerful symbol of the war's futility and the limits of American intervention. It showed that even the most powerful country on earth couldn't always impose its will through brute force. The struggles of American soldiers in the dense jungles of Vietnam, the widespread protests back home, and the eventual evacuation of troops highlighted the complexities and challenges of modern warfare. It was a humbling experience that forced America to confront its own limitations. But more importantly, Vietnam revealed the dangers of imperial overreach, the arrogance of believing that America knows what's best for the rest of the world. The war was a cautionary tale about the perils of imposing one's will on another nation. It underscored the importance of understanding the cultural, political, and historical context of a region before intervening. The arrogance of believing that America knows what's best for the rest of the world led to disastrous consequences. The speeches of American politicians, the fervent anti-war demonstrations, and the solemn Vietnam War memorials all serve as reminders of the hubris that can accompany power. It was a lesson in humility that many believe has yet to be fully learned. Chomsky argues that the lessons of Vietnam weren't learned. Instead, they were ignored, buried beneath a wave of triumphalism after the Cold War. The end of the Cold War brought a sense of victory and complacency, overshadowing the hard-earned lessons of Vietnam. The focus shifted to celebrating the triumph over communism, rather than reflecting on the mistakes and missteps of the past. Instead, they were ignored, buried beneath a wave of triumphalism after the Cold War. The parades, the victory celebrations, and the political speeches of the late 1980s and early 1990s all contributed to a narrative of success and dominance. This triumphalism overshadowed the need for introspection and critical analysis of past actions. And it's this amnesia, this refusal to learn from past mistakes, that Chomsky sees as particularly dangerous. The Vietnam War memorials, the historical documentaries, and the ongoing protests against war serve as reminders of the importance of remembering and learning from history. Chomsky warns that without this critical reflection, the same mistakes are bound to be repeated, leading to further conflicts and suffering.